NFL Week 8 props and parlays. In this video, I have a parlay that could send us into early retirement. But before we dive into that, my name is Austin. As always, if you're watching the Call on our Shot channel, if you are new, do me a favor, go down below and hit that subscribe button. Now, we first begin with a recap of Thursday, which we were so close to one of our biggest days of the season. But shout out Kamani Vidal. We laddered him up to 100 plus rushing yards, which was over plus 700 odds, and he came through. I said in that video on Thursday night that if he hit 100, you guys had to sign up for the Dub Club. We shook on it, and some of you guys did hold up on your end of the bargain. The only reason it wasn't a huge day is because Jefferson, we had him for 80 plus yards. He had 72 in the first half. Couldn't get us 8 more in the second. You hate to see that. But overall, it's been a pretty good start to our season. Let's continue that going into week 8 on Sunday, where we played pretty well. Not played. We ain't doing anything. But we've done pretty well on Sunday. Like I said, we do have a VIP service. That's our Dub Club. Again, you can join. You get some exclusive props, parlays, and a bunch of other things. 50% off for your first month. It's only $7.50 if you're interested for 1 month. Test it out this week's card. 2 VIP props, both 1 units. One is plus 120, I believe, and then a long shot parlay. So again, 50% off. That link is down below. But let's dive into our week 8 touchdown parlay. We have done 7 of these things. We do 1 every single week. 7. We've cashed, I think, in week 2. The other 6, I would bet 5 of them have lost by 1 leg. Last week, it was Mike Evans that did not come through. He obviously got injured in the second quarter. You hate to see it. Some of you guys did cash, though, if you were on a book that voids things. But I was on FanDuel, and I don't normally like to count those regardless towards the record because that feels wrong. Here we go. Come on, guys. You guys got this. Yes, these are my 3 favorite guys. We have Travis Kelce on Monday night, George Kittle, and Cade Otton. Notice it's all tight ends. Why might you ask? It's National Tight End Day on Sunday, National Tight End Week. I think these are all 3 guys that are getting in the end zone. It's plus 1,700 odds, plus 13 if you don't use a boost. I'm only playing this for 0.2 units. So 0.2 will win back over 3. 3.5, I will take a chance there. I'll talk about George Kittle a little bit more in this video, so I won't spoil him. But Cade Otton, actually, in fact, if you just want to talk about National Tight End Day, all 3 of these guys scored last year on National Tight End Day. Again, that is a day that they're trying to honor their tight ends and stuff. And so they normally try to find a way to get those guys into the end zone. And I like all these guys. Now, Travis Kelce isn't technically playing on Sunday. He plays on Monday, but I think they find a way. An old timer like Kelce, come on. We got to schedule a play for him, shovel pass, something to get him the ball. And then George Kittle, I'll talk about him in a second. And then Cade Otton, we know there's no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. And this is a Saints defense that's not all that great against tight ends. I like all 3 of those guys. Now, I have to ask you guys for permission. Can I have permission to go a little psycho mode? Just for a second, right? Just for a second. Nothing too crazy. All right, cool. You're good with it? Yeah, so you tell me there's a chance because I took all 3 of those guys to score the first touchdown of the game. That is plus 7,800 odds, plus 78,000 odds. My mistake. $10 on this puppy turns in almost $8,000. I played it for 0.1 unit. It is a long shot. I know the odds of them getting first touchdowns too. Unlikely it's the first touchdown of the game. They need their team to score first. But man, if you watch this and you didn't tail and it hits, you'd feel like a bozo. So all 3 of these people, George Kittle, Cade Otton, Travis Kelce. If George Kittle and Cade Otton score the first touchdowns, I will stream at least the first drive in that Chiefs game on Monday Night Football. I'm just saying. So you're telling me there's a chance. All right, let's dive into some player props as well. Of course, we'll be playing some of them over on Chalkboard. If you don't know anything about Chalkboard, again, you can sign up using my code COS. They will give you a free pick and a 100% deposit match. It's Jordan Love. You got to sign up. It's code COS, link down below, free pick, and they'll double my first deposit up to $100. They're doubling your money, just like the ladder challenge, which I will have day 2 of the ladder challenge posted sometime on Saturday, probably after this video drops. So make sure you tap into that. But we'll talk with Chalkboard at the end. Let's get into a player prop. And, I've already kind of teased George Kittle. He's one of my favorite plays of the week. Best bet. I have George Kittle anytime touchdown at plus 200 and him to score the first touchdown at plus 1,000. So I do have a little bit more on George Kittle first touchdown. He's my favorite guy. I have a half unit on his regular touchdown and then a 0.1 unit on the first touchdown. So 0.1 to win 1 unit. George Kittle, if you backed him last week, yeah, he didn't play. No, he actually did play. He had 0 receptions though with 2 targets, and it was just not a great game. They obviously ran the ball all over the Falcons. Now they have a little bit of a tougher matchup against the Houston Texans, and I would be shocked if George Kittle is not involved early and often in this game. We know the 49ers have been dealing with so many injuries to their pass catchers. And not only that, the Texans are a pretty dang good secondary on the outside. You're going to have some wide receivers, not wide receivers, but have to have some guys like George Kittle, tight ends that can make plays. And that's exactly what we know Kittle is capable of doing. We know he's done it for as long as almost any tight end out there besides Travis Kelce. And George Kittle, I think, gets involved early in this one. I'll spoil it. I'm going to be on his Q1 yards as well. But again, George Kittle, we know he's been a touchdown guy. He scored last year on National Tight End Day. And I just feel like he's involved early in this game. I don't see how they don't. He's like one of their best option, if you will. Last week, coming back from the injury, I get it. Easing him back in. They're running all over him. I don't know if Mac Jones or Brock Purdy's under center. I honestly do not care. Although I kind of would prefer Brock Purdy, but I don't think it's going to be him. I still think George Kittle at plus 200 for a touchdown is way too good. I'll take that. I'll take him to score the first touchdown. George Kittle, I absolutely need it, and I think he can get it done. So, again, Texans also thinking about George Kittle first touchdown. That Texans offense probably down Nico Collins. That offense sucks. So, I think hopefully the 49ers are the team that scores first. I don't know if they win. I don't really care. But if they do score first, hopefully that is Mr. George Kittle. I think he will get an opportunity. Let's hope there's not some funny business going down. Let's get into another player prop, and it's going to be a guy that I understand. If you've backed him this season, you feel like an idiot. And I'm right there with you. I've backed him a couple times. He hasn't been too bad to me. Let's talk about Saquon. I took him for 100+ rushing yards, which is plus 194 on FanDuel. I only played it for a half unit. In my opinion, if you're going to back a Saquon over, you got to get something with good plus money. You can't just, unless it's maybe rush attempts. I do like the rush attempts line. But again, I'm not taking his yards in the high 78.5. If he's going to go over, he's probably getting 100, which he has yet to do this season. So when you're saying that and you're providing some feedback down below, I'm well aware Saquon is not at 100+ yards. But hey, if Kamani Vidal can get 100, Saquon Barkley can get 100 in what I consider to be a decent matchup against his former ball club, the New York Giants. Now, we know these teams just played just a couple weeks ago. Saquon, big first quarter, 35 yards. Big first half, 56. But they got smoked. You had 56 yards in the first half, 2 in the second half. Now, they might be down Cam Jurgens here, but I'm not too worried about that. We've seen a lot of running backs have good days against the Giants. We saw J.K. Dobbins, 81 yards last week. We were on that. We cashed his 80+ at like plus 200. Amari Hampton, 128 yards. Javonte Williams, 97. So, again, sure, you're saying 80 is not 100. And I get that. But we know Saquon Barkley, how talented he is. He has not been good this season. And is it him? Is it the play calling? I don't know. Maybe they figured something out. Maybe they haven't. But I do think being 7-point favorites at home, they've already seen Jackson Dart before. We'll see if they can be up in this game. And I think if they're up, they're going to be able to run the football. Also, adding on to that, A.J. Brown, I'm recording this Saturday morning. I have no idea if A.J. Brown's playing. He might not. If A.J. Brown's out, that really limits their offensive capabilities. And sure, the Giants could load the box, but I don't know if they will immediately out the gate. And I think you'd see a lot of tight end work, and they'd be able to just play a lot of 12 personnel, which should help Saquon run the football. So again, is it some of his fault that he hasn't a great start? Yes. Is it some of the play calling? Yes. Offensive line? Yes. But I do think that there's eventually going to be a game where he pops off. I think it could be this game. Everyone was on his overs last week, and he didn't do much against the Vikings. I think he gets going here. Give me Saquon 100+. If it doesn't hit, I lose a half unit. No harm, no foul. Well, half unit harm. But still, I'd rather this than do like 1 unit on his regular over. I'd rather go for the guts and glory than try to be a little bit safer, like a minus 115 at 78.5, whatever it may be. Saquon, we need a big day. Break off your biggest run of the year. I'm actually curious. Could you guys tell me Saquon's longest run without even looking it up? What is Saquon's longest run he's had this season? What do you think? 18 yards is the answer. And he got that against the Giants. So maybe Saquon can finally get a big play. I think he can get it done. And then finally, we're going to talk about a chalkboard slip. It does contain another player prop that I am on. A reminder, chalkboard, you guys know we love them. Again, code COS. They'll give you a match on your first deposit up to $100. You better get on in there. Sign up, sign up, sign up. There's the Jordan Love. Here's my slip. George Kittle scored a touchdown. Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. Those are both in there. A Packers Steelers less than 45.5 points. Now, if you watched our Week 8 game picks video, which is posted every Wednesday, you should check that out. I gave out my favorite game pick of the week. Spoiler alert, it's there. I also go through every single other game with Logan. We banter about each game, and we to give our favorite thoughts and stuff. So you can check that video out. I'll link it at the end of this one. Ted McMillan. No spoilers alert, but I am dropping a video later on today at Saturday, week 8, 60-second player props. It does include Ted McMillan, hence why he's on the thumbnail of that video. It'll be live at 6 p.m. on Saturday. But not to spoil 100% of it, I do really like his over in yards this weekend. I will have more props than Ted McMillan. He's actually my biggest play of the weekend. I'll be laddering his props, but I'll let you watch that video later on tonight, Saturday evening, and then you can see exactly how I'm playing all of Ted McMillan's props and why. But I do like this. $25 on this puppy turns to almost 500. I'm just saying. Let's have a week. What a video. A parlay that could turn $10 in almost 10K, 8K. Man, that is great. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I hope if we cash that first TD parlay, I'm putting out a lifetime CO. Here's what's going to happen. If we cash that first TD slip, I'm putting out a lifetime COS package. And whoever's watching this video 10.5 minutes in, you better sign up for it. Because even if you put $4 on that thing, it's going to turn into multiple $1,000s. The COS lifetime package would not even be more than like $300, $200, something like that. Either way, go K. Dotton, go George Kittle, and Travis Kelce. If I'm sweating you on Monday night, I hope we're there. Either way, thanks for tuning in. It's Austin. I'll put other videos up on the screen. I'll put day 2 of the ladder challenge once it's live on the screen as well. Good luck. Let's have a day. See you in the next one. Peace.